Moving from being fluent in English to becoming an advanced speaker is a journey that goes far beyond just communicating ideas. At this stage, it's all about mastering nuance, precision, and understanding cultural context. Advanced English speakers can navigate both professional and social situations with ease, using idioms, phrasal verbs, and softening language to sound more natural and diplomatic. In this video, we'll break down practical vocabulary, expressions, and strategies that will help you sound more like a native speaker and less like a textbook. Let's dive into the world of advanced spoken English and see how you can elevate your skills. In professional settings, advanced speakers use specific phrases to articulate complex ideas without sounding robotic or overly academic. Expressions like to circle back or to touch base are common in meetings and emails. These phrases help you sound approachable and efficient, making your communication more effective. For example, saying, "Let's circle back to the budget once we have the final numbers," shows you're organized and considerate. Similarly, "I'll touch base with you on Monday" is a friendly way to keep in contact. Mastering these expressions will help you fit seamlessly into professional environments. Phrase "to circle back" is a staple in business English. It means to return to a previous topic or follow up on something later. This is especially useful in meetings when you want to postpone a discussion until more information is available. For instance, you might say, "Let's circle back to the budget once we have the final numbers." Using this phrase shows you're attentive and organized, and it helps keep conversations on track without dismissing important points. Try incorporating "circle back" into your professional vocabulary for smoother discussions. Another useful phrase is "to touch base." This means to briefly contact someone to give or receive an update. It's a casual yet professional way to check in with colleagues or clients. For example, "I'll touch base with you on Monday to see how the project is coming along." This phrase is perfect for maintaining communication without sounding too formal or intrusive. It's widely used in emails, calls, and even in-person conversations. Adding "touch base" to your vocabulary will help you build stronger professional relationships. You don't have exact numbers, you can use the phrase "ballpark figure" to give a rough estimate. For example, "I can't give you the exact cost yet, but a ballpark figure would be $5,000. This expression is especially helpful in business discussions where precise data isn't available yet. It shows you're willing to provide information, even if it's not final, and helps keep conversations moving forward. Using "ballpark figure" makes you sound knowledgeable and practical. Phrase "moving parts" refers to the many components or factors in a complex situation. For example, "It's a big merger. There are a lot of moving parts we need to consider." This expression is often used in project management or when discussing complicated processes. It helps convey that there are multiple elements to keep track of, making your language more precise and vivid. Using "moving parts" shows you understand the intricacies of a situation and can communicate them clearly. Play devil's advocate means to argue against an idea, even if you agree with it, just to examine all sides of an issue. For example, just to play devil's advocate, "What if the market crashes next month?" This phrase is useful in discussions where you want to encourage critical thinking or explore potential risks. It shows you're open-minded and willing to consider different perspectives, which is a valuable skill in both professional and academic settings. Advanced English isn't just about business, it's also about managing social dynamics with subtlety. Expressions like "for the sake of argument," "to read between the lines," and "on the same page" help you navigate conversations with empathy and tact. These phrases allow you to set boundaries, show understanding, or introduce hypothetical situations. Mastering these expressions will make your interactions smoother and more sophisticated, whether you're with friends or colleagues. The phrase "for the sake of argument" is used to introduce a hypothetical situation to test a theory or idea. For example, you might say, "For the sake of argument, let's assume the deadline is next week." This allows you to explore different scenarios without committing to them. It's a great way to encourage open discussion and creative problem solving, especially in group settings or debates. Read between the lines means to understand the hidden meaning or subtext of what someone is saying. For example, if a colleague says, "I'm fine," but sounds upset, you might need to read between the lines to understand how they really feel. This expression is useful in both personal and professional contexts, helping you pick up on subtle cues and respond appropriately. It's a key skill for building empathy and strong relationships. When you say you're on the same page as someone, it means you share the same understanding or agreement. For example, "Let's make sure we're all on the same page before moving forward." This phrase is especially helpful in teamwork and collaboration, ensuring everyone is aligned and working towards the same goal. It's a simple but powerful way to confirm agreement and avoid misunderstandings. The expression "to take it with a grain of salt" means not to take something too seriously or to be skeptical about its accuracy. For instance, if you hear a rumor, you might say, "I'll take that with a grain of salt." This phrase is useful for expressing healthy skepticism and encouraging others to think critically. It's a common idiom in both casual and professional conversations. When you want to skip over unnecessary details and get to the main point, you can say, "To cut a long story short." For example, "To cut a long story short, we decided to postpone the event." This phrase helps keep conversations concise and focused, especially when time is limited or when you want to avoid boring your audience. It's a polite way to summarize information quickly. Idioms add color and a native-like flavor to your English. Advanced speakers use idioms naturally in daily life, making their speech more engaging and relatable. Expressions like "bite off more than you can chew," "the best of both worlds," and "hit the nail on the head" help you sound more fluent and expressive. Let's look at how these idioms can be used in real-life situations. The idiom, "bite off more than you can chew," means to take on a task that is too big or difficult to handle. For example, "I think I bit off more than I could chew with this double major." This expression is useful for describing situations where someone is overwhelmed by their responsibilities. It's a relatable way to talk about challenges and the importance of knowing your limits. When you say someone has the best of both worlds, you mean they enjoy the advantages of two different things. For example, living in the suburbs but working in the city gives her the best of both worlds. This idiom is perfect for describing ideal situations where you don't have to compromise. It's a positive and upbeat way to talk about balance and opportunity. "Hit the nail on the head" means to describe exactly what is causing a situation or problem. For example, "You hit the nail on the head when you mentioned our lack of communication." This idiom is great for giving feedback or acknowledging someone's insight. It shows appreciation for accuracy and helps clarify discussions. The phrase "in the heat of the moment" is used when someone says or does something without thinking because they are angry or excited. For example, "I'm sorry I yelled. I just said it in the heat of the moment." This idiom helps explain impulsive actions and encourages understanding in emotional situations. It's a useful way to apologize or reflect on behavior. If you're under the weather, it means you're feeling slightly ill or not quite yourself. For example, "I'm feeling a bit under the weather, so I might skip the party." This idiom is a gentle way to talk about being unwell without going into details. It's commonly used in casual conversations and is a polite way to excuse yourself from activities. Phrasal verbs are a hallmark of advanced English. They often replace more formal words in speech, making your language sound more natural and native-like. Expressions like "brush up on," "mull over," and "wind down" are used every day by advanced speakers. Let's explore how these phrasal verbs can help you communicate more effectively in different situations. Brush up on something means to refresh your knowledge or skills in an area you haven't practiced in a while. For example, "I need to brush up on my French before my trip to Paris." This phrasal verb is perfect for talking about preparing for new opportunities or revisiting old skills. It's commonly used in both academic and professional contexts. When you mull over something, you think deeply about it for a period of time. For example, "I'll need a few days to mull over your offer." This phrasal verb is useful for expressing careful consideration and thoughtful decision-making. It's a great way to show that you take time to reflect before making choices. Wind down means to relax after a period of work or excitement. For example, "I usually read a book for 30 minutes to wind down before bed." This phrasal verb is perfect for talking about routines that help you de-stress and transition from busy to calm. It's commonly used in conversations about self-care and work-life balance. The phrase "iron out" means to resolve small problems or details. For example, "We still need to iron out the details of the contract." This phrasal verb is especially useful in business and project management, where fine-tuning and problem-solving are essential. It shows you're proactive and detail-oriented. To weigh in means to give your opinion or join a discussion. For example, "Would you like to weigh in on the new office layout?" This phrasal verb is great for inviting participation and making conversations more inclusive. It's often used in meetings, group chats, and collaborative projects. Advanced speakers rarely make absolute statements. Instead, they use softening and hedging language to sound more diplomatic and open-minded. Phrases like "to some extent," "in a sense," and "I'm inclined to think" help you express opinions without sounding too direct or confrontational. Let's see how these expressions can make your communication more effective and polite. Using phrases like "to some extent" or "in a sense" shows partial agreement or a nuanced perspective. For example, "In a sense, you're right, but we still have to consider the risks." These expressions help you acknowledge other viewpoints while gently introducing your own. They're especially useful in discussions where you want to avoid sounding too rigid or dismissive. The phrase, "I'm inclined to think," is a polite way of expressing your opinion. For example, "I'm inclined to think that we should delay the launch." This softening language makes your statements less forceful and more open to discussion. It's a great tool for diplomatic communication, especially in professional settings. When you use "arguably," you're making a claim that might be disputed but has strong evidence. For example, "This is arguably the best film of the decade." This word helps you present your opinions as thoughtful and well-considered, rather than absolute. It's a subtle way to invite debate and show confidence in your ideas. Now that you've learned a range of advanced expressions, it's important to use them wisely. Don't overdo it. Sprinkling one or two advanced phrases into a conversation is more effective than cramming in too many. Pay attention to context. Use idioms in casual settings and phrasal verbs or softening language in professional environments. This balance will help you sound natural and confident. Understanding when to use certain expressions is key to sounding advanced. In casual conversations, idioms and colorful language are welcome. In professional settings, stick to phrasal verbs and diplomatic language. Observing your environment and adapting your speech accordingly will help you communicate more effectively and avoid misunderstandings. To truly master advanced English, practice is essential. Try incorporating one or two new expressions into your daily conversations. Listen to native speakers, watch movies, or read articles to see how these phrases are used in context. Over time, you'll find that these advanced expressions become a natural part of your speech. One common mistake is overusing advanced expressions, which can make your speech sound forced or unnatural. Focus on quality over quantity. Choose the right phrase for the right moment. Also, be careful not to mix up idioms or use them in the wrong context, as this can lead to confusion. With mindful practice, you'll avoid these pitfalls. Confidence comes with familiarity. The more you use advanced expressions, the more comfortable you'll feel. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every error is a learning opportunity. Over time, you'll develop a natural rhythm and intuition for when and how to use these phrases, making your English sound truly advanced. Advanced speakers are also great listeners. Pay attention to how native speakers use idioms, phrasal verbs, and softening language. Notice the subtle differences in tone and context. This will help you pick up on nuance and use these expressions more effectively in your own conversation. Understanding the cultural context behind expressions is crucial. Some idioms or phrasal verbs may not translate well across cultures. Take time to learn the background and appropriate usage of each phrase. This cultural awareness will help you avoid misunderstandings and connect more deeply with others. Keep building your vocabulary by reading, listening, and engaging with a variety of English sources. The more words and expressions you know, the more flexible and precise your speech will become. Challenge yourself to learn new idioms, phrasal verbs, and softening phrases regularly. The key to using idioms naturally is to understand their meaning and context. Don't force them into every sentence. Wait for the right moment. Practice with friends or in language exchange groups to get feedback and build confidence. Over time, idioms will become a seamless part of your speech. Phrasal verbs can be tricky, but they're essential for sounding advanced. Focus on learning the most common ones first and pay attention to how they're used in context. Practice by making your own sentences and using them in conversations. This will help you remember them and use them correctly. Softening and hedging language is all about being polite and diplomatic. Use these expressions to show respect for others' opinions and to keep conversations open and friendly. This approach is especially important in multicultural or international environments, where directness can sometimes be misunderstood. Don't hesitate to ask for feedback from native speakers or teachers. Constructive criticism will help you refine your use of advanced expressions and avoid common mistakes. Remember, learning is a process, and every bit of feedback brings you closer to mastery. Let's quickly review some of the key advanced expressions covered in this video. Circle back, touch base, ballpark figure, moving parts, play devil's advocate, for the sake of argument, read between the lines, on the same page, take it with a grain of salt, and cut a long story short. Practice these regularly to make them a natural part of your English. Remember the idioms: bite off more than you can chew, the best of both worlds, hit the nail on the head, in the heat of the moment and under the weather. Also, keep practicing phrasal verbs like brush up on, mull over, wind down, iron out, and weigh in. These will help you sound more fluent and natural. Don't forget to use softening and hedging language such as "to some extent," "in a sense," "I'm inclined to think," and "arguably." These expressions will help you communicate more diplomatically and build stronger relationships in both professional and social settings. Becoming an advanced English speaker is about more than vocabulary. It's about nuance, context, and cultural understanding. By mastering advanced expressions, idioms, phrasal verbs, and softening language, you'll be able to communicate with confidence and sophistication. Keep practicing, stay curious, and enjoy your journey to advanced English.